Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
you said hello first.
I tried. It worked.
It's
Faith
a
in-
free
I
for
won.
all when we start.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody. It is time for a closer look at one of the release features for Ultra LMS 4000.4, coming to you fast and furious in December 2025.
Mhm.
This is our number 2 pick. So this is our second top pick, specifying participation requirements for discussions, and it's pretty exciting, actually. With this new release, you as instructors can now specify required responses for a discussion topic and make clear participation requirements to students. Your participation status as a student would be updated, as a student, participation status is updated, giving you a clearer understanding of the progress you've made, and that is shown in the discussions topic area. It's also shown through the progress tracking icons that Blackboard Ultra uses. And just as an aside, it does not currently affect grading workflows or a gradebook. It's really just a way for you to indicate to students what is required and for them to track what they've completed as they go through that. I don't know if there's anything else to say before we jump into the quick demonstration.
Yeah, I think a demo will definitely help unpack some of that. But I think we all, when we're teaching, kind of struggle to, keep students organized, but also ourselves organized about did the student, because we change the rules up today each time we do a discussion board. Maybe this time it's really about communication with each other in the class. So we want to increase the replies. How do we make sure that a student, is keeping track of that requirement, that it's one post, three or two replies to other folks, as opposed to the typical, which might be less. So this way it helps keep folks more organized, right? And I'm assuming it's going to lead to a grade flow.
I think so.
That will come next.
I think the fact that they mentioned it in the notes to say it doesn't reflect it or affect it, I think it means that they've got plans.
Yeah, and as it stands right now, when we go to grade a discussion board, it will give us a high level tally of, say, Colleen posted twice and replied 3 times. So it's giving us that tracking information, but the students may not be as aware. So it's setting the standard, being upfront and clear to the students about the expectation and giving them feedback about where they're at with it. I think that's the real change, is the student perspective of the ask.
Yeah. So we'll show you how to do this, and we'll also share a little bit of a hack that we've discovered in our testing, which may not come intuitively, but it does make sense if you stop and think about why it's working the way it is. So to start, I'm just going to quickly create a new discussion board. I'm going to call it discussion board. Whoops. And we're going to give a quick prompt. So we're going to ask our participants here, what is the feature there we go, just what is the feature you're excited about most with this release? Hit save there, and I should share here. So at this point, you do not have the option to limit what students, actually we'll open this up here, open up the grade settings. I can't do what we're showing off because at this point, this discussion board is not being graded. So as soon as you enable the grading, you get a whole bunch of other options, including a due date. And then this is the button right here, is that participation requirement. So we're going to check that box, and you can see here's our new interface allowing us to say how many interactions we require from the students and what type. So by default, it says 1 post or reply. You have a drop down here of 1 to 5. I'm not sure why that's not just an open numerical text box, but maybe it's because they want to avoid people typing letters. But you have up to 5. And then you have the option of saying post or reply, posts or replies. So depending on how you configure this, we could say we want 3 posts or replies, or we want 3 posts, or we want 3 replies. and that would be great. One of the issues we had when we were doing the testing was often we hear faculty say, we want students to make one post and 3 replies to other students. And that's not intuitive here, because if we set this to 3 posts or replies, then that's going to show, like, if one student does 3 different posts and never in response to another student, then they're technically, according to Blackboard, having met that requirement. But there's a way around this. So what I would suggest, so if this is what you want, if you're happy with faculty or with students just making 3 posts, by all means, here you go. But if you want 1 post and 2 replies, here's how I would set that up. I would, first of all, come up here and actually, yeah, I'll come up here and say, you must post first before you can do any replies, and then come back down here and say, you must make 2 replies. That setting means that in order for students to have completed this task, they must have completed 2 replies. It does not require any posts as part of the participation requirement, but because we enabled this option up here saying you must post first, it's almost a bit of a, this is a gatekeeper here, keeping students from completing the task if they don't post first. So I'll hit save, and now, actually, I'm thinking, no, yeah, that's right, because I can't see anybody else's work until I've made a post. So here we are. Let's make this visible to our students, and I'm going to close this menu, jump into student preview, and you can see what this looks like from a student perspective. Jumping in, here's the discussions that we created. That's the discussion board I just created. And as a student now, I see over here that I have to submit 2 replies by the deadline, and I have completed 0 of 2. I have 0 of 2 submitted. So I'll come in here, and even if there was another student having done their own posts, I would not be able to see them because we've enabled that post first option. And then I'd say, I am excited. There we are. So there we go. And we'll hit post. And you see, still, I don't have anything. I don't have any options, or I don't have anything submitted to meet that requirement. I can hit reply here, and I can say, me too. Very engaging conversation.
And replying to yourself too. It's so nice.
Yes, I know. And we should mention that, draw some attention to that, and hit reply there. And you can see now, as a student, I have submitted 1 of the 2. So I have that indicator right here saying I've at least gotten started on this. You made a good point. I responded to myself. And so we don't have a mechanism here to prevent me from to prevent it from counting replies to myself. Might be something worth flagging.
Yes and no. I think because you want to be able to respond to your own post if someone else did it first, right? So if Colleen hopped in and said me too to my or your post, you should be able to then reply to Colleen and say thank you or whatever, right? To have a thread going on is okay, but you're right, to reply first to yourself is a bit of a thing, right? Like to reply to Colleen replying to you is okay.
So maybe not prevent students from replying to themselves, but prevent the participation from counting responses to yourself. Maybe having that as an option as an instructor, be like, no.
I know.
But it does allow like a lot of back and forth dialogue. So
right, and I feel like this will continue. I can imagine, like we're anticipating, will continue to flush itself out. I could even see down the line saying, having rules like you need to make your initial post by Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then your replies, your 2 replies to your peers needs to be by Friday. And having almost 2 sort of like, conditions for that. Wouldn't that be nice? And then you can track when it was late, because I noticed that when I'm marking discussion boards, they got them all done in time, but it was all done on the same day. Right? They posted and replied. And the idea with the discussion board, right, is to kind of spread your learning and sort of, idea sharing throughout the week. So I think this is all just building up maybe to something like that to be able to set those conditions. But
Yeah.
this is definitely great for students to track.
Yeah. So if folks saw that on the screen, it did have the little check mark because the student had completed two replies, and so they've completed the task. But to your point, I think what we're going to see is, if I go back into that gear setting here, this due date for 2 replies, I imagine that Blackboard could just duplicate this whole piece here, the grading and participation, and just have now another option, one for posts, one for replies, and then have a due date that coincides with those 2, because you're absolutely right. I think that's where a lot of instructors want to get to, is where they can say, this is the deadline to make your first post, and this is the deadline for when you are done your replies.
You see it often with poor students that are really keen and they post on Monday, right? But then no one else has. So who are they supposed to reply to? And then they get kind of stuck waiting on the folks that are doing it last minute.
Yeah.
And then that you don't really get authentic conversation, and it kind of leads to just like other issues. But I think this is definitely, like I was saying, and this is a step in the right direction. It seems to be paving a way towards that.
I agree.
And I love that we're able to see what student participation's like when grading, but how great for students to be able to see when they've got 6 courses at a time, how many posts have I made or replies have I made, you know, in Colleen or Liam's course. Now I can really check and see that. And then eventually that'll lead to the grade book too, which is, I'm sure, will be great.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So that's, let me just jump back to our slide. So that kind of covers it. That is our number 2 pick for this go through for the December release. If you found that this video has been helpful, please like, comment, share, subscribe, let other people know that you're finding value in our content. And if you need support,
we host drop-in sessions. They're held virtually on Teams on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. till 11:20 a.m. We do that in as a team with the EdTech team here at Georgian. And if you're interested in joining us, just go to your Blackboard calendar. You'll see the link for it there on the Tuesdays and Fridays. That's it.
That's it. So that's it for today. I hope this has been beneficial. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.